Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we complete a bracket challenge to determine the best celebrity bourbon from a tasting table article. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, Evan Van Scoik, Lori Mangum, and Demetri Kane.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Not much. How we doing?
Hey.
Good. So things are well, and Demetrius, you were just on vacation, and you said something out of the vacation has sparked a question that you've got for the group tonight. What is that, man?
Yeah, so one of the things I was thinking about, because one morning we woke up and we're sitting there around there eating breakfast, and does anybody else, when you're on vacation, have breakfast bourbon? You know, what is that? Because when you're on vacation, 5 o'clock anywhere, so it's like, technically you can start drinking before noon.
Sure.
What does that look like? And is there a certain breakfast you pair it with when on vacation? Because I definitely paired my bourbon to something. My wife was asking me about it, and I just thought it was interesting. So,
Well, I paired bourbon and donuts before in a class, and that was in the morning. So I think that goes well. I mean, I kind of hate to say it, but I mean, I drink early in the morning. I mean, we get to the shop, and there's new things you got to try. I mean,
can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
Exactly. So I mean, breakfast bourbon is whatever's in the glass for me. But how about you guys, Lori? That doesn't seem like Lori does. Lori never.
I'm thinking like a pecan waffle.
Okay.
With like a Old Forester birthday bourbon.
Okay, Old Forester birthday bourbon.
Not bad.
Yeah, because it kind of has a little bit of banana to it, that kind of all plays together.
Sure. Okay. All right. McNew, how about you?
Not a big breakfast girl, but when I'm on vacation, I like cocktails. I like a cocktail experience that's different than what I can get here. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely going to get a cocktail at breakfast because I think you can drink all day when you're on vacation. But, maybe I do like some scrambled eggs or something. Not a big breakfast girl.
Scrambled eggs, of course, is a big vacation item for McNew. Yeah.
I feel like that might be one thing bourbon might not go with is scrambled eggs. I've never.
Totally not.
Evan, how about you, man? What would be a good breakfast bourbon pairing?
Well, I wouldn't pair it with the meal itself. I don't normally like to do that. But immediately following, I'm all for it. And I think, starting it off, you probably want something either lighter, maybe not as strong of proof. I could see something like Stumpy's aged pecan pie whiskey. Or you could go a route where it's like something that's like honey or maple syrup finished. Any of those choices, you could do like a Starlight, or we've got Catoctin Creek at the ABV Barrel Shop.
Starlight, of course.
What? Just slipping that in. Hey, just casual name drops is the name of this game.
I was going to say Knob Creek smoked maple. There's not a lot of times where I like it, but there's not a lot of times where you think about it. I think that would be good for breakfast, actually.
Yeah, with bacon.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, what was your pairing you came up with, Demetri?
Well, so it was one of those kind of moments where I forgot to bring whiskey. Then I found a bottle of I had a half drink bottle of Booker's in my vehicle, and a little bit of Maker's 46. I put that into the milk with Captain Crunch.
Oh, cereal bourbon. Interesting.
What?
Not Captain Crunch. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
was
That's good. Yeah.
phenomenal. And I sat there and I was like, does anybody else do this? Am I the only one out? Because I was also drinking it with it, but I added a little bit because it was kind of like, cinnamon milk.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty good. So
That's basically just rum shada.
Right.
that's pretty much what we went with.
Yeah. That's not bad. I like it. I like it.
Oh.
All right, gang. Well, guess what? It is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? We'll start with McNew.
I'm not drinking tonight.
What?
I texted you, Steve.
I know, but I thought I'd just call you out.
I'm drinking Pedialyte, guys.
Pedialyte.
Aww.
That means it's been a rough day.
It's been a rough day.
night.
It's been a rough 2 days.
Yeah. Toast. She's having toast and Pedialyte. So,
Yeah.
Oh man.
In there.
Well, so we'll continue to ask you every show what you're drinking.
Okay,
of
great.
course.
It's
I mean,
gonna be
it's in your contract. We have to do that. Lori, what do you got?
I'm sticking close to the show's theme tonight and drinking a little bit of Brothers Bond.
Okay. I'm a little mic muffle
kind of a
going on
weenie
there,
one.
but yeah, we heard something, so you get some credit. All right, next up is Evan. Lori's got the lead.
All right. I'm going to do a
McNew is
bottle of
shitting through the eye of a needle, so she's not.
Four-Gate.
She's not playing tonight.
She has to make the sound herself.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I've got a bottle of the Kelvin Collaboration number 2 from Four-Gate.
Okay.
So that's one that's finished in cognac and rum casks. Let's see what we got
I
here.
like cognac finish. Oh, that was good. That was good. Yeah, explosive. Is
Where's
everyone
Tim?
okay?
Where's Tim when you need him to?
Very
evaluate the-
nice.
That was a very good point.
It was a good cork pop. I've got the Old Rip here. Old Rip. Let's see what we got. Not as good as Evans. Evans clearly got the lead there. So, Demetri, you're the last one. It's between you and Evan. What do you got?
All right, I've got a Yellowstone 93 proof. So let's go.
Okay. No, nothing going on there. No. Evan, you've won, my friend. Cheers.
Woo.
Evan. Cheers.
My nice custom glass there.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, it's going to be time for a Bourbon Bracket Challenge, the best celebrity bourbon. This is from a tasting table article. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
This is Mr. Bill. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily. I don't drink to that.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we have a bracket challenge to determine the best celebrity bourbon.
Yes, we do. So this is an interesting list to me. And just because of number 7 here that I'm going to read, I don't understand why they put the list out with us in there. And they even it was updated to have the information that I'll share with you. But this is their list. This isn't our list. So we're playing with their list. So we have to play with it as presented. It's not like, well, this isn't right. We're going to, no, we got to play with their list. So these are the contenders. Jamie Foxx and his brown sugar bourbon. Brad Paisley and his American Highway Reserve. Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley for Brothers Bond, Scottie Pippen for Digits, Peyton Manning for Sweetens Cove, Terry Bradshaw for Bradshaw Bourbon, and here we go. Here's the one. Matthew McConaughey for Long Branch. I have several issues with this one. Number one, he's no longer with the organization. Number two, he didn't own that. It wasn't his celebrity. This is why it's still out there, and he's no longer, with
Was he just in the ad?
Yeah, he was just basically, he helped. Yeah, a spokesperson for it. So I don't understand. And the article even says he's no longer with them, but it'll continue to go on without him. Well, yeah, he didn't own it. Yeah.
So are you telling me this whole time
how that works?
What's that, Demetri?
So are you telling me that he doesn't own Lincoln?
No, believe it or not.
I thought.
Shocking.
Exactly.
He might own a Lincoln.
Right.
Well, I'm hoping
Or
for
two
that
or three.
because, when he's doing the commercials, I just want to buy a Lincoln every time. I'm like, Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. He's having those awkward conversations with himself in there.
I hear those cars are all right. All right.
So, and the last one, Bob Dylan with Heaven's Door. So here's how they're going to break out. Here's going to be our bracket challenge. Bob Dylan, Heaven's Door will take on Scottie Pippen and his Digits. And then Jamie Foxx, Brown Sugar Bourbon, takes on Terry Bradshaw, Bradshaw Bourbon. Ian and Paul with their Brothers Bond will take on Peyton Manning with his Sweetens Cove. And then you got Matthew McConaughey and the Long Branch taking on Brad Paisley and American Highway Reserve. All right, round number 1. Up first is going to be Evan. We're looking at Bob Dylan, Heaven's Door versus Scottie Pippen's Digits. Which do you think is a better brand?
All right. Do we get to incorporate everything as a part of the brand? So it's not just purely on taste, right? We're thinking this can be part of the advertising, the labels, the bottle designs. Okay. For that purpose, thinking like holistic brand, I'm going to go with Heaven's Door.
Heaven's Door. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Heaven's Door goes up 1-0. Demetri, what do you think? Bob Dylan, Heaven's Door, or Scottie Pippen Digits?
Based upon the fact that the sound of digits just makes me feel uncomfortable because I've come close to losing a few. And I really like Bob Dylan, and I think Heaven's Door is awesome. So I'm going to go with that.
Heaven's Door goes up 2-0. Round 3 here, round 1. Lori, you're third person in round 1. Sorry. Bob Dylan, Heaven's Door versus Scottie Pippen Digits. What do you think?
Not that I don't love some old school Chicago Bulls, but I gotta go with Bob Dylan on this one.
Bob Dylan.
Knock, knock, knocking.
Bob Dylan moves on. All right. Next up is Brown Sugar Bourbon. That's, again, Jamie Foxx's brand versus Bradshaw Bourbon, the company with Terry Bradshaw at the front. Demetri, you're going to be up first. Jamie Foxx, Brown Sugar Bourbon, or Terry Bradshaw, Bradshaw Bourbon?
I think I would go with Terry Bradshaw, Bradshaw Bourbon.
Terry Bradshaw bourbon goes up 1-0. Lori, what do you think? Jamie Foxx brown sugar bourbon or Terry Bradshaw bourbon?
I haven't tried either of these, but just to keep it interesting, I'm going to say brown sugar bourbon.
All right. Brown sugar bourbon has tied it up. McNew, you're next. What do you think? Brown sugar bourbon or Terry Bradshaw?
I've had both, and brown sugar bourbon I think is better to like marinate chicken with rather than to drink with. So I'm going to go Bradshaw bourbon.
Bradshaw bourbon. Okay. Bradshaw bourbon's up 2-1 over Jamie Foxx and his brown sugar bourbon. And I'll say this. I feel like either of the ones in round one would have beat either of these two. That's a weak division here. I think that I got to go Bradshaw, even though I like Terry Bradshaw, but I don't like Bradshaw bourbon. It's one that drives me crazy, but at least it's a bourbon. Brown sugar bourbon is a flavored, whiskey, and it gets into that whole thing is it really a bourbon once you had the flavor? And I think it blurs the lines too much. I'm going to go with Terry Bradshaw, and I'm going to give him the vote. Means he moves on. All right, next up is Ian and Paul. We're talking Brothers Bond and Peyton Manning and Sweetens Cove. Round number 3. Lori, you're first.
This is an easy vote for me. I'm going with Ian and Paul with Brothers Bond. It's delicious. Oh, gosh,
fangirling out at this point.
I can't help it, Steve.
All right, McNew, you're next. What do you think out of those two?
I'm probably going to get some hate from my other Indiana people, but because I'm voting against Peyton Manning, I'm also going to go with Brothers Bond.
Brothers Bond. So Brothers Bond, you got the two male airheads, that look good on the show. And then you got Peyton Manning, Hall of Fame football player caliber. He's not in there yet, but I assume he will be once his eligibility is there. But I'll say this. Peyton Manning's just a name on a bottle. He doesn't really know anything about whiskey or anything else. I've seen interviews with him. He's a good front man, and he's doing his best to sell what he can. The other two guys are actually trying their best to build a brand. They actually care. Unlike most celebrity brands, I have respect for these guys. We did an event with Ian, and he's a stand-up guy, and we brought Rutledge on there for him, and it was a great opportunity. He
signed our bottles.
Yeah, he sent out signed bottles. He's a good. I never watched the TV show they're on. I don't know anything about it. I don't even think it looks interesting. But that being said, as celebrity bourbon guys, I think they're good. I'm going to give them my vote. So that means they move on. Peyton Manning, gone. All right. That would shock him. I'll tell you who would be most shocked if he was listening to the show, Peyton Manning. He'd be like, I got this. All right, round number 4, McConaughey and Long Branch versus Brad Paisley, American Highway Reserve. Now, Brad Paisley, he's not any sort of celebrity or anything. This is a misprint, I think. What the hell's a Brad Paisley?
Country music star, come on.
He invented the Paisley shirt or something?
No.
Okay, I don't know. All right, McConaughey versus Paisley, round number 4. McNew, you're first.
So I actually love Brad Paisley. I did not realize he had a bourbon. This was news to me. And I think Matthew McConaughey was kind of involved, like behind the scenes, like he's been to the distillery and stuff, even though he was just kind of the face of the product. I'm going to go with Long Branch.
Long Branch. Okay. This is interesting to me because I notoriously hate country music. But McConaughey, and he did try. I mean, and I do think he was involved. I think the fact they went with the Mesquite, I do believe that was his idea, or, that's the story. And I believe that, but he's not affiliated with the brand anymore. I can't give him my vote here. So I got to go Brad Paisley, even though I would assume that McConaughey was more involved than Paisley in his respective brand. But he never owned it or anything like that. So I got to go Paisley. So that means we're tied up here. Evan, what do you think? Matthew McConaughey or Brad Paisley?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible story they got going with the American Highway Reserve. They're doing something similar to like the Jefferson's Ocean. They're doing the rolling rick house. Oh, so it's aged
like the
on
tour
the
bus
road.
Or something?
Yeah. And I think they've got some decent stock that they're getting and putting into the blend. I think I'm going with that. Just in combination, the Matthew McConaughey that we discussed at the opening of the show. I feel like it's not as much a part of it, right? It's just more of a
Right.
spokesperson. So I'm going with American Highway Reserve.
Okay. All right. Means Paisley's up 2-1 over McConaughey. Round number 4. Up next is going to be Demetri.
So this is hard because the whole idea of being able to age whiskey on a tour bus, I know, is completely marketing. As,
Right.
yeah, I don't think that they would be, if I could do that, I'd put one in the back of my VW van and drive it all over the city and just call it, Streets of St. Louis. It wouldn't sell. But I think I'm going to have to go with Long Branch.
Long Branch. That means we're tied up. It goes to Lori for the tiebreaker. Puts you in a very important position here, Lori. Yeah,
A lot of
you're
pressure.
unmuted. Oh, there you go.
But I am going to have to say, all right, and go with Long Branch.
All right. McConaughey moves on. All right. Our final 4 looks like this. Bob Dylan takes on Terry Bradshaw. Ian and Paul will take on McConaughey. Round number 5. Here we go. I'm first. Bob Dylan or Terry Bradshaw. This one's an easy one for me. I famously saw a video with Terry Bradshaw. It was meant to promote his brand. And they sent him over to the bourbon aisle and said, yeah, here's your stuff right here. And he searched and searched and searched. And finally, the camera guy said, it's right there. There it is. He pointed out. And then Terry's like, grabs it. He holds it up to the camera, then signs the bottle. He doesn't know anything about that brand. He doesn't give a shit about that. He's just hoping for a monthly check or whatever they've said they'd send him. He doesn't know anything about bourbon or care about that brand. Bob Dylan is... I don't know where he's at on building his distillery, but he's committed dollars to do so. He's involved enough. I mean, he's building a place in Nashville. I think it's pretty cool. So at least Dylan's that involved. I'm going to go Dylan for sure. All right. So Evan, you're next. Bob Dylan and Heaven's Door or Terry Bradshaw and Bradshaw Bourbon.
Yeah. And looking at the whiskey itself, like there are some real clear differences you can tell. Like the Bradshaw Bourbon, they're looking for that kind of value budget. They're in around $40 MSRP, a 2-year old. They're sourcing out of Green River Distilling. And then you look over at Heaven's Door, they've got some 10-year offerings. They're doing a lot of different things. They look like they're going more premium. And then, I was a sucker for the bottle design, right? Like they actually have those gates that are a part of, I think, is it Bob Dylan's actual estate? He has like those fancy gates actually on there and he likes to draw them or something like that. So I like all of those components. They're going for something premium bottle design, better age statements. So I'm going to go with Heaven's Door.
Heaven's Door goes up 2-1. Demetri, what do you think? Dylan and Heaven's Door or Terry Bradshaw?
Heaven's Door all day long.
All right. Heaven's Door will be in our finals. All right. Next up is Ian and Paul for Brothers Bond versus Matthew McConaughey and Long Branch. Round number 6. Evan, you're first.
Yeah, I didn't vote for McConaughey the first time around, so I'm going Brothers Bond on this.
Brothers Bond goes up 1-0. Round number 6, Demetri, you're next.
Brothers Bond.
Brothers Bond. All right, Lori. We have to ask you, even though we know what's going to happen, but we're gonna go ahead and still ask you. What do you think?
My answer is Brothers Bond, Steve.
All right, that means Brothers Bond does move on to the finale. All right, here's where we're at. It's going to be Bob Dylan and Heaven's Door. And then we've got Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley, Brothers Bond. All right, this is the finale, round number 7. This is for all the marbles. Best celebrity bourbon. Demetri, you're first.
I think that I'm going to have to go again with Heaven's Door.
Heaven's Door. That means Heaven's Door goes up 1-0. Lori, what do you think? Heaven's Door or Brothers Bond?
I know you're shocked, Steve, but I am going to go Brothers Bond.
Brothers Bond. All right, McNew. Heaven's Door or Brothers Bond?
Another vote for Brothers Bond.
Brothers Bond. Brothers Bond goes up 2-1. I'm next, And I'll say this: I love Dylan, and I do think he's involved. I think we got the best two somehow, some way. We ended up with the best two on the list in our finale. It doesn't always work out that way because sometimes they break out where they end up facing each other earlier or something like that. But we got the finale here in the finale. I think that's a great thing. I will say this: while I know Dylan is involved, he's not involved day to day. He makes some of the big decisions. He also is involved in some of the cover design and stuff like that. But Brothers Bond, I think those guys are involved in it from the beginning. I think that when we had them on that event I talked about, they only had one item out. It was an 80 proof. And we said, hey, true bourbon drinkers don't like that. And you know what? Ian had an answer for that. He said, hey, we're out of the gate. We have fans that probably haven't drank bourbon before. We got to go low proof. He said, we will come out with higher proof, something that more appeals to bourbon fans. And to his credit, they've done all those things. They have single barrels now. They have cask strength. They're doing the things that a good bourbon company does. I got to give it to Ian and Paul and Brothers Bond, meaning they are our show champion. How about that? Brothers Bond.
All
Those two
right.
guys. Be on the lookout for them.
That's a win for Vampire Diary fans.
It is. So we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Evan, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Wit Wisdom Whiskey. Don't know how much you're going to get of any of those three things, but you'll probably see some pictures of whiskey. And if you want to hear really bad jokes, stop by the ABV Barrel Shop sometime, and you might hear me and Kyle Neely going back and forth with bad dad jokes.
It's true. Evan had locked in. Jim and I, for some reason, again, here's the problem with when you own a business. There's downtime and there's time to talk, and there's just two of us. And we have nothing better to do but than to rank the customers. And Evan, customer number one, week after week after week after week. Now, he slipped recently. Evan comes in at ranking at number 6 these days. He's pointing to the dog. The dog has done him in. So, yeah. So, Ken is number 1. Tony is number 2. Yeah. So then
I had so much free time before I got a puppy.
Darren's number 3. So yeah, so Evan's fallen to number 6. And you know how whenever you have any sort of list and things like that, and it'll kind of say neutral, up arrow, down arrow, so you kind of know where are they going right now. Evan he's fallen in the rankings and he's sitting at number 6, and he has the down arrow next to him, so there could be further falling out.
So mean.
There you go. You want to get up the Tony was in today, and he really wants to be number 1. And but I don't really know what goes into it. It's not spend or anything. It's just I don't know. It's quality of time you spend in the shop.
I do
it's
have
quality.
A shelf dedicated to the ABV Barrel Shop.
That's good. It's allowed you to hang on to the number 6 spot. Yes, for sure. All right, Demetri, how about you, man?
Got me right when I was drinking. You can find me at Demetri Kane on Instagram and Facebook, or you can find me at Nobleton's on Facebook and Instagram.
He was real rugged there, Demetri.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I just downed.
You can find me on the Facebooks would be one place you could find me. All right, Lori, how about you?
Yeah, y'all can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Spirited Curves.
McNew.
I'm on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more, abvnetwork.com. Please come by the ABV Barrel Shop. Know that you will be ranked. And again, it has nothing to do with any sort of reporting. It's just a feel. So it's just how we feel about where you rank. So there you go. Come by the ABV Barrel Shop if you're in St. Louis, or at a minimum, go by abvbarrelshop.com and you sign up for our email distribution so you know what's going on. So you want to do that. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Adios.
Later.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with the national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.